I want you to think back to your greatest sales success. Where were you? How did you carry yourself? What did you say and how did you say it? What do you think made your customer really buy? And how'd you ask for the business? Maybe it was your first sale. Maybe it was your biggest sale. Maybe it was the one that you had to work the hardest for, where you had to really overcome a series of challenges. Maybe it even required a little bit of luck. Let me ask you a few questions, and perhaps you can take a minute to jot down the answers. What did you learn from the process? And how did you feel at the time that you made the sale? Looking back, what strategies and tactics did you use? And how did that particular sale compare to your other sales experiences? Now, here are a couple more interesting questions. If there had been more money on the line, would you have handled the conversations with the client in the same manner? What if there had been less money involved? Think about it. Whatever your successes have been in the past, when you recall that greatest sale, I'm sure you're smiling, right? It's really important to celebrate achievements. And it's also important to learn from them. An interesting study in 2005, Tel Aviv University professor Shmuel Ellis conducted a study of after-action reviews with two different companies of soldiers in the Israeli Defense Forces. He found that they learned at a significantly higher rate and improved their performance when they were debriefed on their failures and successes following each day of training. He compared them to a group of soldiers who reviewed only their failed attempts. And in fact, the soldiers who reviewed only the failures did not perform as effectively. So in fact, Ellis and his colleagues had discovered that the group of soldiers who learned from their successes developed richer mental models. A mental model is nothing but a map of how something was done. He similarly found that individuals who have experienced success are also much more comfortable discussing their mistakes. Learning from mistakes after a successful experience is much more effective than learning from mistakes after a failure. People learn more from their mistakes if they feel psychologically safe. Many times, if I ask a participant at one of our sales workshops to remember the details of their most successful sale, I see a room full of smiles. Then when I ask them to describe those successes to others, their pride swells and the emotion rises in their voices. They really feel incredible. They vividly describe the setting, from who was sitting there to who was wearing what, and they mention the objections that the buyer raised and how brilliantly, confidently they encountered and countered those objections, ultimately enabling the buyer to see things their way. The interesting thing is that people are willing to speak much more freely and probe more deeply about failures if you discuss first success and failure within the context of a winning sale.